I'm interested to bring in Adrian Rainey now. Guy's become a good friend of mine down here in South Florida. He hosts the Rainy Day podcast along him and Palm Beach Frank. What's up today, Adrian?
What's going on, Rod? How you doing?
Hey, good. Listen, I didn't bring you in for a big hockey discussion. I'm going to talk about Tua with you, but I just wonder this Sidney Crosby thing where he's admitted he'll take $8.7 million, way less than market value because he wants to win, kind of smacks a lot of what Tom Brady did in New England and Tampa Bay, doesn't it? I mean, how do you feel about that philosophy versus what Dak's getting and Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and that mentality?
Yeah, I just think Sidney just willing to take less just to help the team. And he's made a lot of money through his career, won some cups. So that's within it seems like a personal decision to me, to help the team and help them keep building so they can have a chance this year. For the next 2 years. So I think good on him, If he wanted to get paid, he could have got paid. I feel like some team would have paid him.
He could have gone to the open market for sure. He doesn't want to, which is a whole other thing. He wants to stay in Pittsburgh, which speaks a lot to the culture there. Now, the real reason I brought you on is to talk about Tua, and I should tell our audience, Adrian told me when I was on his program, his podcast, that Dolphins are your number one team, but the Panthers are number two. That's why I lobbed you the Crosby thing, because I knew you could handle it. But the Tua stuff, you've been all over. You and your boy, Palm Beach Frank. And let me just go back to Thursday night, if you don't mind, and him leaving the game with his third concussion and what's happened since to get to where we are today. What's your view at it as a Dolphins guy?
So, obviously, it was unfortunate, what happened. Tua just trying to make a play Thursday night. And, man, it just seems like his body can't handle those hits to the head. So last year he had a great year, injury-free for the most part. I'm sure he had some bumps and bruises along the way. It's football. But, he just can't be taking those hits to the head. He avoided them last year, but, the previous year, we see how many games he missed. Feel like the Dolphins are going to take this, very seriously like they did in 2022. And I'm sure he'll miss some time. But he already said he's not going to retire. That's a personal decision to me. I don't have an opinion. I feel like he should do what's best for him. Palm Beach Frank said he feel like, he probably should retire. A lot of people are saying that, just to protect his health. We're talking about his brain. But I don't know. I think he'll make a decision with his family. It's to come back and play would be rough, because if he takes another one of those and ends up on the ground, national TV again in the fencing position, it's going to look bad for the NFL, but who knows if they step in and make a decision for him.
Well, the thing is, there are so many sides to this, and what's funny about it, and you've seen them, there's the national opinion, and you got guys like Tony Gonzalez saying everybody from Tony Gonzalez to Palm Beach Frank saying he should retire. But here in South Florida, it's a little different, because I'm listening to the radio every day, and Joe Rose and all the hosts are looking at it from all sides. And the one thing that I picked out of that is the heat that could be on the general manager of the Dolphins, Chris Greer, for not having a more capable backup than Skylar Thompson in the event that your number one guy goes down, because he's prone to concussions to begin with. Like, have you heard that angle, the heat on Chris Greer?
Definitely. And I will also, point out the offensive line. Chris Greer had a press conference before the season and laughed about it when they asked him, does he feel like his line is capable? And he said, I think you guys are a little more worried than we are. But, Tua was running for his life that game. He did get sacked a few times before that also. So, it's a combination of things, but definitely Chris Greer deserves some, blame for this. Especially with the backup Skylar, but who knows what Skylar does. This is third year in the system. We'll see with a week of preparation. He's got 10 days to prep for Seattle. So let's see what he does. I'm going to be optimistic right now. So, man, definitely Chris Greer deserves some blame.
I didn't think there was any way Tua would retire after this. So it was my guy David mentioned to me the other day at Johnny O's gymnasium. I hadn't even heard that Tua had come out and said he's not going to retire. I'm like, that didn't surprise me at all. Did you think he would even?
Yeah.
I mean, he might have considered it, but he certainly wasn't going to do it. Not now.
Yeah, definitely. He considered it in 2022. I'm sure he's sitting down with his family, going over the pros and cons. But at the same time, he's a competitor, and he just signed a big contract, 4-year, $212 million extension. So I'm sure that plays a part in it also.
The reason I'm half smiling here, Adrian, is because I'm thinking of my friends that I've made in a fairly short time, the last 3 to 4 years since I've been here, the Dolphins fans. I want you to tell our viewers how invested they are with the team. No more than anywhere else. Like, I'm a Cowboys fan. They're nuts there at Leafs fans in Toronto, Rough Riders fans in Saskatchewan, but they're literally beside themselves with this Tua stuff. Not only his health, but the state of the team. And somebody said to me the other day, They're like, oh my God, who's going to challenge the Bills in the AFC East now? They're beside themselves with this. People need to know. It's a big deal down here right now.
Oh, yeah, man. You got a lot of fans that live and die with the team. They're invested. They pretty much invest their whole lives. Like, some people, the offseason is not an offseason for them. They're fully invested, keeping track of moves, practices, like what the players are doing off the field. You got a lot of fans that really live their life. Their life revolves around the Miami Dolphins, and not just football wise, in the community also. You got fans like Lisa Siegel, who we had on the show, and she rides her bike every day. Man, she says she rides over 500 miles a month, for the Dolphins Cancer Challenge, and done raised probably over $200,000 for that in the past few years. So, people are very invested. I mean, it's Miami, man. It's a lot of crazy. Florida got a lot of crazy people down here, and especially about sports. Like, you have that with the Panthers, you have that with the Heat, you have that with the Dolphins, the Miami Hurricanes. Like, fans are all in down here.
Well, what's exciting too, by the way, I'm getting hooked into this Hurricanes thing, and Cam Ward being the odds-on Heisman favorite right now, which I think is awesome. I went and watched him live 2 weeks ago, the Florida A&M game, and I'm like, this guy's he's ready. He's ready now.
Yeah.
But before I let you go, I should have you talk about the Panthers. And you said they're your number 2 team, which is saying something because you were born and raised here. You got the Heat. Yeah. Nobody even talks about the Marlins. Why do you love the Panthers so much?
I love the grit of the team. I told you I got into hockey about 5 years ago, and just the team that we have and the players that we have, and then you see the influx of support that the Panthers have gotten over the past few years. I mean, they're probably right now, I would say, probably the number 1 South Florida team right now, just on we just won a Stanley Cup. Like, that says enough right there. But the grit of the team, like, 2 years ago they were calling us the comeback cats, still do to this day, because we don't give up. So, I mean, that right there lets you know enough about the team, and why people love them so much.
Please do me a favor and answer this question, because over 90% of our audience is Canadian. Can you explain the Panthers-Lightning rivalry? Because my take, they think it's a rivalry, but it ain't nothing compared to the Oilers and the Flames, or for that matter, the Red Sox and the Yankees, the Canadians and the Leafs. What's your take on that rivalry, Panthers and Lightning?
I think that's a Florida thing, really. Florida teams always want to be the best team in Florida. So you have Tampa, they've been doing well. They did let their captain go, though. So we'll see how they do this year. But, Florida, even when it comes to other sports, like, every team's battling for the number 1 team in Florida, which I don't get too much, because you want to be the number 1 team in the league, not the number 1 team in Florida. But that's just a little rivalry. It's just, cross-state rivals. Everybody wants to be the best team in Florida, which we are.
Well, I just don't feel a steaming heat coming off this rivalry,
Nah,
unless I've missed.
definitely. Nah, I wouldn't say so. I would just say, you have the fans that love Tampa, you have the fans that love Florida Panthers. So it's about preference. And yeah, man, that's all I would say. I don't think it's a huge rivalry like the Canadian teams. Canadians go hard about their hockey.